so you are listening to Stu's podcast. And if you don't, well, you're just not going to get a rose from the Bachelor.
You're listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. It's time for British Wrestling's sharpshooter, your host, Stu Palmer.
Thank you to everyone who's been listening to Stu's Wrestling Podcast. We've had record downloads in the past week. It's been incredible. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing us on YouTube as well. We are on there. So thank you so much. And I think it's now time to do the intro for episode 79. And it's my first guest from Impact Wrestling. Can you believe it? 79 episodes in and we've finally got an Impact talent on the show, and he comes from India no less. He's been around the company for quite some time. It's Mahabali Shera. Shera comes from a sporting family in India, from a small town in the north of India, and he talks about bodybuilding and then getting into ring kicking in India before getting signed to Impact many years ago. We talk about wrestling, Bobby Lashley. We talk about Drew McIntyre. Two big behemoths in wrestling, but you get to hear some old school ideals from Mr. Mahabali Shera here about if he takes one, he has to give it back. And it's really cool to hear, actually. So my guest for 79, episode 79, actually, Mahabali Shera from Impact Wrestling, and you can also see him with Al Snow at OVW on a Tuesday, and catch Impact on Impact Plus in the UK every week. My guest today, all the way from Louisville, Kentucky, by way of India, it is Impact's Mahabali Shera, and I'm a big fan, sir, on Stu's Wrestling Podcast today. Also, for the UK viewers and listeners of Stu's Wrestling Podcast, you can get Impact on Impact Plus. That is where you can find Impact, and we can also find you on OVW as well, can't we? How are you?
I'm great, sir. How have you been?
All good. It's an absolute pleasure to get you on Stu's Wrestling Podcast. I just want to ask about the origins of your career when you were still in India many years ago, getting rocking and rolling with wrestling when you were in India. How did that come to be?
Yeah, I was. It's been when I was a professional bodybuilding. I was doing these sports, and then I love sports, and I'm the person, growing up, I love to representing myself in sports. There is of course I had opportunities. I can go to Bollywood, I can to do some movies like this kind of things. I have also my own gym in Chandigarh, in Punjab, but my father, my family, they also relate with sports. Like we play kabaddis, Then I like to, the people, like I like to be as an icon for my country,
Yeah.
Like there is Dara Singh, that he's a name. He was a huge star, wrestling star, and he had really huge name. I was looking forward to like one day the new generation, come to look after me. They want to look like me. This is kind of a person I want to be in my life. But 2012, 2011, basically when we have show Rinka King, they found me. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, they found me, and I was watching TNA Impact Wrestling, on Star Sports in India.
Yeah.
Then that's like a dream come true to work. When I saw Jeff Jarrett, Sanjay Dutt, I don't have words. Like I was like, what? I'm gonna be working with the TNA people. When they signed me for Rinka King and put me 2 month training, because we don't have much time at that point. And I have no wrestling background. I was athlete, good body shape, of course, personality and everything. They put me, and I did probably good. That's why I was the champion. That's why maybe they signed me for Impact Wrestling as a first Indian wrestler. It was dream come true. I have no word. I'm from North, and like very small village, and we don't have much opportunity. For me, it's a huge deal to sign with the TNA Impact Wrestling. Ah, man, I don't, I'm just still, sometimes I feel like I'm living a dream.
That's the bet. That's got to be the ultimate for you though, because you're
Yes.
saying, small town in India, and you've gone on to be on a big stage over in the US. I know obviously India prior to that, then combining the two, and yeah, I'd like to ask about some matches now. Just fast forward into 2015 when you were with Impact TNA. Just some of the early matches when you came in and getting started there with the US audience. How did the audience differ to the Indian audience? How were the US? How was there any differences? Was there any similarities?
Uh, Actually, of course, when I started first time Rinka King, I have, less experience. I work with the very popular peoples who have really good name like Scott Steiner, Jeff Jarrett, Chris Master, Brutus Magnus. I work with those people, When I signed, and then before we had Sanjay Dutt, he was in TNA, then people watch, he's Indian. But when actually they signed me, and then people had more reason to watch Impact Wrestling, TNA Wrestling over there. So of course, Sony 6 was very happy because like now we have like a Shera, so they put me everywhere. They have my documentary. But when I start my debut with the TNA in 2015, I had debut in January 27 in New York, and I had match with Tiger Uno. I had that was my first match, and after that, I have worked with Jeff Hardy's Mad High tag match with the James Storm. That man is unbelievable. They are huge.
Yeah.
I had worked with Bobby Lashley. I have worked with Bobby Roode. I had worked with every single person, and they are huge, and they make me look like a star. Honestly, I worked with the uh, Grado.
I know Grado very well. Obviously, I'm from Wales. He's Scotland, obviously. But yeah, we love him. We love that man, I tell you. And he flew the flag for the UK so well. And like yourself, getting over to the US and being
Yeah.
on mainstream telly, it's just incredible. And I did like your stuff with you and Grado. It was brilliant.
Yes.
It was so much fun.
He's a man, he's a fun guy, he's awesome. I work with Spud also. Spud
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
He's really good. EC3, I work with all people, and every person have different, I was not the corner of my English is second language, but
Yeah.
also, and for me to working with these people is honor. Every time I go to work with Bobby Lashley, Bobby Dude, I just ask to God, thank you, God. I never thought I'm gonna be work with those people. It's honor for me. But other side, I'm very like I like to be on same level. Make sure I make them look good. They'll make me look good. So it's different, and it's also honor. It's many ways like roller coaster movements when you work with huge stars.
How was it just to get into Bobby Lashley a bit more and a bit more depth?
Yes.
How good is Bobby from a wrestler's standpoint? You being a wrestler, I'm just a fan. I've never got in the ring. I've never physically done it. We hear about how tough it is for you guys and learning, but how was Bobby getting in there with Bobby the first time? What can you remember? What do you remember the most from that first time with Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby Lashley, his body like a steel man. Okay, I'm also stiff a little bit with ring. Honestly, I like to, just everything I do, I just like to people about means if he did, that means just really hit it. So I give, Bobby Lashley tackle, big tackle, and that I have still bruise in my shoulder. This is the way I can explain him. He's a steel man, and I'm okay. Of course, like was fan of wrestling. Like you was a fan of wrestling, and when I was watching a fan, I watched Bobby Lashley. He's a huge man. He's a huge star, but of course, his backstage is a different, very very nice person. But again, I'm the same way. I'm very nice with backstage, but I'm not nice with when I'm gonna ring. So it's gonna, if you eat me, I will eat you. You're gonna beat me, I will beat you. It's the same. Whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna do back to you. I also work with Drew McIntyre.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine how that was when you're saying about Bobby and then the size of Drew as well. You're a big guy yourself, though, Mr.
Yes.
Shearer. You are big, so
Yes.
that's an old school mentality. I think giving
Yeah.
it back. You give it back as hard as you
Yes.
take it.
Taken, yes. It's now I'm the same thing. Me and I go to take time with my Arsenal. He's my coach and he's my friend. I work with OVW. And every Tuesday show. Me and Arsenal have same mentality. How to make people believe, how to protect this sports. This is not a business. This is sports, and I'm a sports person. I have to look at the part of what I do. This is the way this is the way I look. If you're a wrestler, you have to look like a wrestler. You have to make a believe what you do. Like in 90s, people, when we saw wrestling, oh my god, this is where they come from. These people is a monster. So this is I'm trying to do to make a believe. And Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, they are. I had honor to work with those people who blessed. I'm blessed, and then also they are stiff, and I was stiff too. But we had good stuff, and I like that. I don't mind someone hit me like this. I don't mind. This is okay. That's fine. This is how we do. I like it. I don't mind.
You were also trained by Savio Vega. I did a bit of research. I know because you've said about Al. You've alluded to Al being at OVW, obviously there in Louisville. What did you learn? What did you take away from Savio Vega training you? Because that man's a legend. World renowned. I don't think Savio gets enough credit. I think
No.
he's a
Savio,
fantastic wrestler. Absolutely
he's
superb.
awesome. What he teach me, he's the guy who believe in me. That's why I think I'm here. In today, I'm talking to you. I had signed with the TN Impact Wrestling because this is the first guy who start training me. Teaching me. He teach a lot. He's how to teach. Be nice. Be humble. He teach a lot of stuff. I still have. I think Savio Vega. I was looking forward to training with him, and we don't have chance. I meet him twice. When I came back, I have still contact. When I was in India, this is the guy I was always talk to. If anything, questions, contract with TNA, contract for anything. I always ask to Savio. We been keep in touch. But I'm saying like Savio and Nick DeMorse, they both helped me. They are both very sweet person. They have a lot of experience, and my career start with them. Everything I have because of them.
That's
That's
awesome.
yes.
That's awesome. I know obviously early on you worked a lot with James Storm, and obviously he had the faction. And how was that? I know you've said about how good James Storm is earlier, and I know he's due to have his 1000th match with Eric Young in TNA in Impact, which is unbelievable. What did you learn from James Storm? What was some of the good stuff you've had from James Storm, because he's been in the business for so long?
Yeah, I learn a lot because he's a very creative person. Very creative person. When I start with Koya,
Yeah.
how he work, his personality, he's a cowboy. James Storm, what he do, how he move ring, he teach me a lot. Because whatever I have, you have to be people who helping you. I'm not saying it because they really helped me. James Storm, I learned a lot with James Storm. And I had match with recently, tag match with James Storm. And then that was good. I had really fun. But also, that was 3 years ago, and now it's been time. And then I have a confidence how to, bring myself and do things with the sports. And he's nice, and he's a creative person. He's a different person in the ring, and I miss that Koya, when we do this with Mag, TJ and me, and we had fun. Yeah, we had fun. But I like James Storm.
That's cool. That's cool, man. I think in terms of, I know you've faced a lot of guys over the years. Are there any guys that you haven't got in there with that you'd like to get in there with? Some guys that you'd like to test yourself against? Stylistically, different styles of wrestler, maybe.
Moose. I haven't faced Moose yet. Yes, I'm waiting when he's gonna win the championship, and then maybe I get opportunity to beat him.
two big Mack trucks again, getting in the ring. Absolutely.
Yes, this is the one I'm looking for because his attitude. He's of course he signed with the TNA. It's been maybe 4 or 5 years. That was maybe he signed 2016 when he signed with Impact Wrestling. And then now there is no doubt he's a great wrestler. And then way he changed himself, his look awesome. And because me, I have been back and forth in my shape, but I'm also looking forward to see different personality. I'm working a lot on my ring skill and also my body, But whenever it's gonna be happen, me and Moose, it's gonna be huge because he's a big guy. I'm a big guy. He's believable, representable, and then for me, it's gonna be, really like attack like a lion. This. I want to take what he have, like say something in my language, anything. I'm hungry. Like I'm very hungry. Whenever he's gonna be front of me, I think you can feel that way because I haven't been eat for it's been a week, and I want to eat, and then I'm gonna eat moose.
How about the cross promotion that's been going on? Now we've seen Kenny Omega in Impact, and obviously Don Callis going between the two. How is it having Kenny Omega around, and do you think you could show up in AEW at some point?
I love to. If there is any opportunity come, I will be so happy. And I'm also excited, so soon I wasn't in India when that happened, Clash,
Yeah.
Then I think that was great. That is great because of both company and
Absolutely.
both wrestler, both people who, work both companies have opportunity to work each other. And then AEW is, of course, is in small time, they get huge name. And then all the wrestlers, Kenny Omega, he's a huge star. I saw him, I meet him, not personally, but just like, a little bit distant, but I think I saw his work also. He's a great, and also it's a great opportunities for, the all wrestlers, to work together and then help for both companies for next level. And this is really good. In India, we call 1 is 1, 2 is 11. So this is 11. And also peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to close out, Mr. Shera, I would like to ask you just some tips for young people wanting to get into the business. Maybe some young Indians that want to follow in your footsteps because you've made the path for the Indians. Yeah, just some tips for guys. I like asking people. I like asking workers in the business. Tips.
I think but whoever is watching me and for who want to be in start any kind of career. This is not about wrestling. Any sports. Make sure you trust yourself and make sure you're ready and make sure you know what you're gonna do. You have to submit yourself properly, and you have to be very respectful. 2 things I will suggest, and also people, please don't waste your time if you want to do that. If you want to do it, you have to submit proper, and then have to look like who you are. You have to be representable, And India, like whenever I have opportunity, I'm going to start wrestling over there. Find people who have a fire, who really want to do this. Like when I signed Impact Wrestling, I was dying. I will be happy if I die in the ring. I will be not happy if I'm dying outside with the car accident, having too many children, and then taking responsibility, I die. I'm not that person. I will be happy if I'm dying to doing this sports and representing my country. I need kind of this fire, the people who want to do this, because this is not easy. This is a tough. This is not easy. But if you want to do that, make sure any kind of things, make sure you have your mindset, and respect is really important. Make sure you respect the teacher, parents, and your family.
Pertinent answer, that very good answer. I love asking that because there's a lot of young guys who I know on the UK circuit breaking through, younger than me, in their 20s, early 20s. So they'll take that advice, Mahabali. Absolutely. My guest, Impact star, son of India, Mahabali Shera. And you can get Impact on Impact Plus in the UK every week. And that is where you can find Mr. Shera, and in OVW as well with Al Snow and the team there. I've got to get OVW in. Thank you so much for coming on today on Stu's Wrestling Podcast.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. And thank you, all my fans and all Impact Wrestling fans. Please don't forget to watch, you said earlier, Impact Plus app. And also we move Thursday. So be ready for more action upcoming weeks, and you can see a lot of Shera stuff you never see before.
This episode is brought to you in association with Powered 4 TV, so go and check them out for anything wrestling related, old events, new events when we come out of COVID, podcasts, you name it, it's all there at Powered 4 TV, so find them across social media.